And I'll tell you something else.
Brother man, DL,
I think the prosecution
I met
against two of
DL
those
1988, 89, the LA
tricky,
Times newspaper.
because
He
they're
worked
newbies.
as telemarketing manager
I
in
think
Santa
you're
Clarita. I
absolutely right.
MC
I
the
think
show.
when they
Performed
came
at
out
the LA
and
Times Christmas party.
charged him
Brother
with
man,
third-degree
DL was
murder,
there.
let's be clear. Third-degree murder wouldn't. 3 degrees wouldn't warm up a pizza.
It's Chris Cuomo, Friday night. Chris Cuomo,
third-degree murder
6:50
is honey
p.m.
without
Pacific
license.
time.
It's the most benign thing I've ever heard. It was murder. And we need to understand that the same brutality that America is seeing across its streets every day is the same brutality that black people have been telling America that had existed for eons.
So
and now they are forced to see it, and they're not necessarily comfortable with the image, and they're not necessarily being honest about it either.
I think it's hard.
That's right, DL. Tell them about it.
On a lot of different levels. And I think that it is so easy to be a wedge. It's so easy to make people want to blame the other side or exempt themselves from any type of responsibility. The hard part is moving it forward. You can do all the investigations you want and find different changes to make. You obviously have a culture issue when it comes to policing. No matter what color the policeman is, by the way. It used to be, the myth was, if you had more black cops, this would be better. That hasn't really worked. But in terms of getting the majority to understand the needs of the minority, how?
It's very simple. The the officer that took George's life had 18 complaints in 20 years. 18. The only professions when you get 18 complaints from the public and still keep your jobs are policemen and priests. That's it. And the fact that man not only got
you already said
force,
policemen and priests. But I also say ex-DMV employees. I used to work with Hollywood DMV. You forgot about that deal.
That's not an accident. If you look at this systematically, you see a pattern of brutal officers, undisciplined officers being put in the proximity of our communities. Of course, when white people say most of the cops I know are good, they're right, because they would never get the level of policemen that we get. That same officer would never be in proximity of people of affluence. So there are people that should not have jobs. If you curse on the air enough at the very job you do, or I did the same thing on my radio show or any other platform, I would lose it. I would have forfeited. Why do they get to keep forfeiting the public trust and being able to keep their job? I don't understand it.
You are
Steve
right.
Steve Harvey said he's been cursed since he was
that can change.
4 years old.
But there's a bigger level here, too, of recognition of the need. If this was happening to the majority, it would have stopped a long time ago. So,
Sure.
It's always like, you have to make sure you don't brutalize the wrong person, because then it gets too much attention and people are angry and now it's got to stop. I wonder if George Floyd turns out to be the wrong person because of the timing of COVID and Ahmaud Arbery and then this one all together at once and the video. But I still am worried about fade, and that with time it'll go away and we don't work on the kinds of reforms and the tough work that has to be done.
It's really simple, man. You need to do what it is you're supposed to do. Like, I'm glad that all these corporations and all these police officers, I'm glad that they're doing what they're doing. I'm glad that police officers are marching with protesters. Now, march one of your officers, violent officers, into disciplinary action. Now, hold them accountable like you're holding these protesters' hands. It's great that Bank of America offered $1 billion to deal with racial inequality. Now, stop discriminating against black people against loans. Do the right thing.
That's right. Spike Lee gonna make Do the Right Thing too, or Mark
Wynn. Do what it is you would do
gonna make Do
life.
the Right Thing too.
And now you have it. It tells you a lot about a culture when they know that the world is watching it and they're kicking ass like nobody's business. They could care less. And what you saw in Buffalo was an example. You could say when two police officers are disciplined for a callous, cruel act, and 57 of them resign in protest, that says that they see that action as acceptable. So when that happens, that's a good day. That's a good day when those men disavow themselves and disconnect themselves from the public, because they would be more in trouble later on.
They didn't quit the job, but they moved off the detail. But I take your point.